Are you still adding your leads into your CRM application manually? Then this automation is just for you. So hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to learn how to create Salesforce lead on Paperform submission. So I am an owner of a digital marketing agency and I've created a form with the help of Paperform, with the help of which I am collecting my potential customers and clients' information. I want that as soon as a new form submission is going to be done with the help of Paperform by any of the customers and clients, automatically I want to add that customer, I want to create that customer as a lead in my Salesforce account. Now doing this manually is very time consuming. So what I did was I simply automated this entire process with the help of Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. So here in this automation, what we are going to do is we are going to create a connection between Paperform and Salesforce with the help of Pabbly Connect. So if you also want to learn about this amazing automation, then let me take you all to my screen. Welcome to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to create Salesforce lead on Paperform submission. So as an owner of a digital marketing agency, I use Paperform to collect my clients' inquiries through customized form on my website. By integrating this with Salesforce, every time someone submits a form with the help of Paperform, whether they are requesting for a quote or asking for more information, a new lead is going to be automatically created in my Salesforce account of that same customer I've done the form submission. This seamless process saves me time on data entry, helps me keep track of potential clients more efficiently, and ensures that no inquiry goes unnoticed, ultimately boosting my chances of closing deals. And I'm going to be creating an automation between Paperform and Salesforce with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign in to our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the all Pabbly apps window in front of you, in which you can see all the applications of Pabbly, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on this Access Now button. After that, you can see Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on this top right corner button right over here that says Create Workflow. A dialog box is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the workflow name and for us to select a folder. So for the name of my workflow over here, I'm going to give it as Create Salesforce Lead on Paperform Submission. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow, okay? After that, it is asking for us to select a folder. So on the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down, select the folder from the drop down in which you want to save this workflow in. After giving the name to the workflow and selecting the folder, I'm going to click on this create button in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created in the name of Create Salesforce Lead on Paperform Submission, and over here you can see there are two windows in front of you. One says trigger, other says action. So what is trigger and action? Trigger and action are the two most important steps of our automation process because our process depends on these two concepts. Over here, trigger says when this happens and action says do this. That means our action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. We are going to set up our trigger step first. And for the trigger application over here, we are going to select it as Paperform. As with the help of Paperform, I have created a form with the help of which I am collecting my leads inquiries. I want that there's a contact form that I've created. With the help of this form, the leads are going to be generated for my business, okay? I want that as soon as a new form submission is going to be done with the help of Paperform, automatically and instantly Pabbly Connect should capture the response of that, okay? So after select my trigger application as Paperform, it is asking for me to select the trigger event. For the trigger event, I'm going to select it as new form submission, as I want that whenever a new form submission is going to be done with the help of Paperform, automatically and instantly Pabbly Connect should capture the response of that. After selecting the trigger application and the event, you can see that the Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. With the help of this unique webhook URL, we are going to create a connection between Paperform and Pabbly Connect by following the steps given here below in the help desk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply copy this URL from here. After copying the URL, I'm going to log into my Paperform account. Paperform is an online tool that lets and create customized forms, surveys, and landing pages easily. It's a digital form builder that helps us to collect information, payments, bookings, or feedback from people. And I've created a form with the help of it, with the help of which the potential customers can send me their details. So I've created a form with the help of it. You can see right over here. And I want to connect this form to Pabbly Connect so that whenever a form submission is going to be done of this form right over here, automatically and instantly Pabbly Connect is going to capture the response of the form submission. So in order to connect this form to Pabbly Connect, from the tab right over here, go to After Submissions. Under After Submissions over here, it says Integrations and Webhooks. Click on this option right over here. After we're going to do that, if I'm going to scroll down over here, it says Webhooks. You have to select it. And over here under Webhook, it says Add Webhook. Click on this right over here. It is asking for the new webhook. Over here, it is asking for the URL. So in this field, I'm going to paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. And over here in the trigger on, you can select it as new submission. As over here in our Pabbly Connect, we want the response of the new form submission. So I'm going to select the trigger as new submission. And then I'm going to click on this create button right over here. As I've done that, you can see the webhook is now been successfully added for the new submission trigger right over here. As the webhook is now been successfully added, if I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down, you can see right over here it is saying waiting for webhook response. So now to check whether Paperform is successfully connected to Pabbly Connect or not, what we are going to do is we are going to do the test submission of this form that we have created using Paperform. I'm going to do the test submission of this form, right? So I'm going to open the form that I've created. So this is the form that I've created, and now we're going to do the test form submission. And after doing the submission, we're going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of the form submission or not, okay? So let us do the test submission. Firstly, it is asking for the first name. So for the first name over here, I'm going to write it as Smart. Next, it is asking for the last name. So for the last name over here, I'm going to write this as Lead344. For the email over here, I'm going to write it as smartlead344@pabblytudes.com. For the phone number over here, I'm going to write in a dummy mobile number. After that, it is asking for the service interested in. I'm going to select it as SEO right over here. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on the submit button right over here. As I've done that, it says, thanks, we have received your submission. As now the submission is successful, I'm going to open my workflow and scroll down. Over here, you can see we successfully received a response. Now let us tally the response that we have received right over here. For the service, we have received it as SEO, which we have selected. For the dummy mobile number, a dummy mobile number. For the email as smartlead344@pabblytudes.com. For the last name as Lead, first name as Smart, with all the other details, okay? As we successfully received the response of the form submission being done using Paperform. So this means that Paperform has now been connected to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. Now, whenever a new form submission is going to be done with the help of the form that I've created using Paperform, automatically what is going to happen, Pabbly Connect is going to capture the response of that in the similar manner that we have received the response in, okay? As now the trigger setup is done, we need to set up our action step. And as our objective is that whenever a new form submission is going to be done by any of the customers using Paperform, I want to create a lead of that same customer in my Salesforce account. So let us set up our action step now. And for the action application over here, I'm going to select it as Salesforce. As in my Salesforce, I want to create a read. So I'm going to select my action application as Salesforce. Salesforce is a powerful tool that helps businesses to manage customers' relation and sales efficiently. It centralizes all the client's data at one place, track leads, and automates tasks like follow-ups. And I want to create the lead of the customer who has done the form submission using Paperform in my Salesforce account. That is why for the action application, I've selected it as Salesforce. And for the action event over here, I'm going to select it as create lead, as I want to create a lead of that same person who have done the form submission in my Salesforce account. Then I want to click on this connect button. A window is going to appear in front of you, on which click on add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection. After that, click on connect with Salesforce. As I've done that over here, you can see a window is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the permission. So I'm going to click on this allow button. As this is saved process, my data is perfectly saved with Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on this allow button right over here. As I've done that, you can see we successfully authorized Salesforce to Pabbly Connect. After authorizing, it is asking for the last name, first name, and all the other details of the lead that we are going to create in our Salesforce account. So for the data of our lead, what we're going to do is we're going to map the data. What is mapping? Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we're going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow. And how mapping works is that as soon as I'm going to click on this field right over here, this was the previous step, that is Paperform new form submission. As I'm going to click on it, this was the same response that was captured in our previous step. As over here, it is asking for the last name. In my previous response, I have received the data of my last name. You can see right away, this is the data of the last name. So as I want the last name of the person who have done the form submission, so that is why from my previous response, I'm going to select this data right over here. As I've selected the data from my previous response, the data is mapped. And as I map the data has now become dynamic. That means whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this mapped data. Similarly, for the first name, I'm going to map the data of the first name right over here that I've received in my previous response. I'm going to map it. For the title right over here, I'm going to write the title as new Paperform lead. Okay, so this is the title that I want to give right over here. Okay, after that, it is asking for the company. Over here for the company, I have not received the company name. So for the company over here, I'm going to write it as none right over here. Okay. After that, it is asking for the phone number. So I've received the mobile number. So I'm going to map the date of the mobile number right over here. Next, it is asking for the email. So for the email over here, I'm going to map the date of the email that I've received in my previous response. After that, it is asking for the website. I don't require the field, so I'm going to skip the part. For the description right over here, I'm going to map the data of the service that we have received. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to write over here as service interested in, and now I'm going to map the data of the service that we have received in our previous step right over here. Okay, so this is the description. Over here, it is asking for the lead source. Over here in the drop down, we have not received the lead source. So in order to write the lead source right over here, I'm going to toggle this map button on the top, erase the existing data from here. I'm going to erase this existing data, and over here, I'm going to write it as Paperform lead. Okay, so it's the lead source. For the status, I'm going to remain it as open as it's not contacted right now. For the rating, I'm selected as hot. After that, it is asking for all the details which I don't require, so I'm going to skip the part. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to simply click on this Save and Send Test Request button. As I've done that, we have received a response right over here, which is a positive response. So now I'm going to open my Salesforce account. So this is my Salesforce account lead section right away. I'm going to refresh this page from here. As I've refreshed the page, you can see right away under recent items over here, you can see a new lead has been added. If I'm going to open this lead from here, you can see a lead in the name of Smart Lead 344 has been successfully added in my Salesforce account. If you're going to tally the details right over here, for the name is the Smart Lead 344. For the phone number, the dummy mobile number with the email address as smartlead344@pabblytudes.com. Company as none, title over here as new Paperform lead. Over here, status comes as open, source as Paperform lead. You can see right over here with all the other details. In the description, it says service interested in our search engine optimization, that is SEO. Okay. So as the lead has been now successfully added in my Salesforce account, this means that we successfully created an automation between Paperform and Salesforce with the help of Pabbly Connect. But now for all of you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another test form submission with the help of Paperform. And after doing the submission, I'm going to check whether a new lead has been added in my Salesforce account or not. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the test form submission. Okay. So let's do the real-time test now. Over here, it is asking for details. I'm going to fill in the details in this form right over here. You can see right away, I filled in all the details. First name as dummy, last name as person77, email as dummyperson77@pabblytudes.com with a dummy mobile number, service interest in content marketing and strategy. Then I'm going to click on the submit button to do the test submission. It says submission is successful. As now the submission is successful, I'm going to open my Salesforce account and refresh this leads page from here. You can see in the recent items, a new lead has been added in the name of dummyperson77. If I'm going to tally the responses, the dummy mobile number, email as dummyperson77 over here. For the lead source as Paperform lead, new Paperform lead, status as open, not contacted, description as service interested in, and content marketing and strategy. So as the lead has been now successfully added to my Salesforce account, this means that we successfully created an automation between Paperform and Salesforce with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up what we have done, I am an owner of a digital marketing agency and I have created a form with the help of Paperform. My objective is that as soon as a new form submission is going to be done with the help of Paperform by any of the customers, automatically what should happen is that customer should be added as a lead in my Salesforce account. And for that, I've created this amazing automation between Paperform and Salesforce with the help of Pabbly Connect. So if you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment down below if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video. Not just with these applications, you can create automation between multiple other applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. If you have any questions, you can contact us on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can check the queries on forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video.